Welcome, everybody. We have 70 of us on this Zoom meeting today in our town hall meeting of faculty and staff, and I welcome you all. I waited a bit about having a town hall meeting with faculty and staff, and we have a person that can't hear. That's Zenaida. Can you hear Zenaida? Okay, she can hear. So I waited a bit because we were so busy getting organized, particularly those 2 weeks to transition from online to remote learning and getting our students ready, our faculty, our staff, getting the equipment and the instruction and so forth. And I didn't want to belabor you with information that was still developing. But here we are now, and I'm going to continue these town hall meetings because things are now beginning come to us in a fairly regular pace, but not a shockingly rapid pace that we've been through. So welcome. Alejandro is our logistics coordinator for this Zoom meeting, and he has muted you all so that the presenters, the panelists, which will include the vice presidents and Vilma Bernal, Faculty Guild, and Kara Ackle from Academic Senate, can make a few remarks. And then, so the first sort of half hour will be some remarks by us, and then the next half hour will be questions, and you can click on your chat box and type in your questions, and we will answer them, all of them as they come to us. So again, welcome. Let me give you a quick overview of some issues. I wanted to cover the LA County Public Health latest advisories, the state situation, the federal situation, where the district is at this point, and then talk about some specifics that the district has given us. Now, again, the good news from the county is it seems to be that social distancing and the masks and everything that have been required, particularly by the county and city, has taken effect, and that it appears that it is leveling off a bit, and that's the good news. Whether that's going to continue in that leveling off and dropping is still a concern. However, we do know that the city has given May 15th as safer at home to continue to be at home, if possible, to work at home and to stay at home. And we do know that that may be elongated. We know that there's interest by the governors to do regional reopening, perhaps. We know that the federal government is interested in something sooner than later. However, the governors are meeting to discuss if we kind of go back to some activity like business, being able to frequent businesses and so forth. It may be continued masks and distancing requirements. So we'll see how that turns out. But at this point, we all know the big news for us is that for the rest of the spring semester, we are online and remote, pretty much. And the summer, we also are online and remote, with the possibility of face-to-face in the summer, perhaps, if things get improved significantly, but we don't know yet, and those can be additions, and I can let our Vice President, Nicole Alba Lopez, talk about that. With regard to the legislature, we do know that they are providing funding for coronavirus support across the state. And we are going to be recipients, community colleges, some of that funding for student support in particular, and technology support. They have talked about the budget for 21 or 2021, and tax receipts are delayed And so we really don't have a solid budget for May 15th. It'll be projections, and we won't really know till June 15th what that's going to look like. The governor or the state chancellor has advised us to look at a flat budget for all the districts, uh, or a 5% to 15% reduction. So we're have those scenarios in play. And as a matter of fact, the district budget committee is meeting this Wednesday at 1 o'clock to discuss the status of the state budget and the district budget and the colleges. So I plan to be there, as well as Tom Jacobs Meyer and others, to get that report and participate in the district budget committee. The federal government, as you know, has allocated this stimulus one, which includes the CARES Act, which provides funding for students across the U.S. in higher education. And 50% of that funding goes to students in terms of emergency grants, so that they can use that to help them get through the spring semester. The other 50% can be used uh, that way as well, in addition to technology and equipment for students and other allowable costs. We don't have a definitive decision by district yet on how that's going to look. I think it's coming in the next 2 days, but we do know this. The first 50% we get is what they call the advancement. The second 50% will come a little bit later. That first 50% is going to students. So we're looking at ways to ensure that it's equitable and that we serve the neediest students. So there are proposals that we're looking at. Should it just be Pell eligible? Should it just be Pell recipients? Or why don't we just do all BOG? Which BOG, Board of Governor grants, as you know, is low-income students. So if that's the case, if we decide to be BOG, which would be a quick and I think fair way to distribute funds initially, the students would get a check or deposit in a bank card for them through financial aid. Financial aid offices will be responsible to distribute those funds to each campus. LA Mission got 2.9 million, so half of that is about 1.48. That 1.48 will be distributed to students at LA Mission College. So we're going to look at those numbers. We should know. And I have a Zoom town hall meeting this Thursday for students. And by then, I think I'll have the information for them as well as you as to what that's going to look like. It could be a check from anywhere from $250 to $350 per student that will immediately be distributed. The other 50%, we're looking at a way for those students who may not have received the check for whatever reason, set aside some funds for them so they can apply for assistance. And we'll have an application process for those individuals that may not have received, they were not, let's say, BOG eligible students, so they can have a way to apply for funding and for their needs to be met. And then set aside some dollars for equipment for students. As you know, we're still buying Chromebooks for students. We're looking at another $800,000 that we have to garner to meet the demand. There's been 8,000 requests. They're still taking applications for Chromebooks for students. And it appears that we'll probably hit the 14,000 mark over the next few weeks. So we are still going to be providing Chromebooks. The issue for us is how to go about doing that and where do we get the funding. So we're probably going to have an announcement for students on that real soon. We will get the funding. The problem is if we get the funding out of reserves, we cannot give the student the Chromebook. We have to loan them the Chromebooks because it's considered a gift of public funds, since it's of public money. However, the foundations have really stepped up. We did receive some major funding from a couple of external foundations of 250,000, another 300,000, and then local foundations have stepped up, including ours, to assist. We're also asking ASOs to think about making a donation to assist with that, because that is not considered a gift of public funds, and we can give these computers to the students. So I would encourage you to, if they haven't got one, if they need one, they should apply. And Alejandro can provide you the information we have in terms of how to access at the district that request. Educational continuity remains huge. My hat's off to all of you. You've been very innovative. We're doing our very best, all of us, to provide the quality instruction necessary for our students and support services. And the signal that we're all giving is we're here for you, students. We're here with all the resources available to support your education and to support you and your families during this critical period of time. And we're giving our teachers the resources they need, and if they need more, we will provide it so they can really give you the best top quality education as possible to meet all your needs. And we're going to be very flexible. That's the other signal that I would like to give to all of you as faculty and staff, as well as students, is we need to be flexible during this period of time with how we go about instructing our students, awarding them credit for their work. Some students, because they didn't have access to computers, may be late in assignments, or may have difficulty with assignments because of their lack of familiarity with remote learning and with Canvas online. There are a lot of those kind of glitches that I'm sure have already cropped up a bit. Fortunately, we haven't heard a lot of complaints by our students. They're actually very thankful that we have this going on for them, and we do support them. And I think our websites have been phenomenal, both on the academic side of the house with the good, easy way for students to look at how to access life sciences and how to access culinary arts and all the various disciplines, as well as support services, how to access financial aid, student admissions and records, and so forth. So we've got to be adaptable and nimble and flexible during this period of time. One thing that is clear is that this is for faculty and staff and administrators and deans and others, this is not an 8-to-5 job. We are home, and we're working from home, but there's responsibilities at home. Our children need to be educated. Our parents need to be taken care of, and grandparents. The groceries are being left off in the front door. There are a number of things we're doing. So it turns out that an 8-to-5 day or 40-hour a week actually turns into an 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night, because we're trying to, address all of the needs that in terms of reaching students, communicating with them at different hours. Now, fortunately, our students, well, unfortunately, but perhaps fortunately, they're in the same boat. Many of our students are parents. Many of our students are children taking care of their unemployed parents. They're facing, how do I work with my younger sister and brother and make sure they get, tutored? So they're also, like us, on a whole new sort of life cycle, if you will, in addressing getting their education and responding to their work and their family needs. So I just wanted to say it is a learning curve for all of us, and we're definitely getting the most out of it from all of you, and thank you for that. As far as the district, I just wanted to give you some quick updates. The rest of the spring semester, I already said, is online and remote. As you know, summer is online and remote unless things significantly change later in the summer. Uh, the DE training, distance education training, has been worked out with the District Academic Senate. Some agreements have been made. I don't have the very specifics. Maybe Carol might want to add to that. But we do know that there is interest to ensure that our DE coordinators are full-time, 1.0. And also there's interest, and the presidents agreed last night, we should have another 1.0 DE assistants, and that could be broken up among faculty, 0.4, 0.2, or whatever, who are assisting in making sure that all of the faculty and staff have what they need to conduct their instruction and support services. So that DE training will take place this summer. It's a heavy lift. We have a number of faculty and staff that will go through it. And we have a training program that will be one size fits all, meaning it'll be district-wide with district standards for all 9 colleges. And that's important because some colleges have different certification requirements than others. And that doesn't really work well when we're trying to do the heavy lift for everybody. So we're going to do that. And as I said, the DAS has signed off on agreeing to that kind of approach. The Board of Trustees are meeting this Wednesday at 3:30. It is a public meeting by Zoom. I believe Alejandro has the information for you, and we can send it out, how you can access the Board of Trustees meeting at 3:30 on Wednesday, April 15th. If you get, there it is. So you'll see on the screen there the meeting ID and the phone number you can call if you're going to call in. And so again, Alejandro will make that available following the meeting. And this meeting is being recorded, so it is available again for individuals that weren't able to make this town hall meeting. And then finally, I wanted to say, my final comment is, you know, we've been through the storm, a big storm, and the storm is still with us. Okay, and so as I was saying, we got to continue our shared governance. We got to continue our work. And so now that we're a bit more settled, even though the cloud is still above us, let's move forward with our work. And so meetings that were canceled or postponed, I think it's time for us to get back. I'm calling my cabinet meetings back together again on Monday. We will have College Council in May. And all the shared governance committees in Zenaida, I know that makes you happy, will be moving forward. We have to continue making sure that the college is functioning and supporting our students to the very best of our abilities. I'll stop there, and I'm going to ask Nicole Abel-Lopez if she has anything she would like to add.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see everyone's face on here today. It's gotten a little lonely being at home. So just a few quick updates. Summer registration for students was pushed. It should have been taking place now, but it'll actually begin on May 4th. And we're still working out a timeline for fall registration. So we'll start to see finalization of the summer schedule and students filling up those classes soon. For those faculty and staff out there that have contact with students, we do have Net Tutor available for students 24/7. And then we have embedded tutors in many of our classes. Al has done a fantastic job working in Canvas and with our tutors to get them working remotely. Same goes for our library staff. They've put together a fantastic way for students to still access resources, be able to connect with the librarian. So We really have seen a lot of innovation and hard work put in from those in academic affairs to make sure that those support services are available to faculty, students, and staff. We are thankful for the flexibility that everybody has shown thus far, and we ask that you continue to share your stories with your students. We've heard from our students that they want to know that we're struggling just like they are. So, you know, keeping that open line of communication and let them know that we're real people just like they are going through some difficulties as well is important. As Dr. Perez said, we will have a full online schedule for summer. We do have some classes that are being scheduled synchronous, which means the faculty and students will meet at the same time, same day online. And by chance, if we are able to come back in person, we can convert those to a classroom in-person environment, if, you know, given any restrictions. So we've really put in a lot of hard work to prepare to have our summer and fall be as thoughtful and purposeful and supportive for students. So, thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate that. Good to hear that we've got these plans moving forward for summer. Larry, would you like to give us some information regarding student support services?
Yep. Sure. Well, first, I just want to say to everyone, it looks like we have over 100 people in the town hall, which is fantastic. I just want to wish you all safety and health, you and your loved ones. I know it's a trying time, and I know that you know, from my family to yours, I just wish you safety and health. Just let me talk a little bit about what's happening with student services. Obviously, we've been going through the transition to a remote environment. It's been interesting, it's been challenging, but it's also been fruitful. We've taken all of our staff through training. We're moving into this different type of service delivery, trying to meet the student where they're at. So whether it be phone or email or now Cranium Cafe, which many of you may be hearing about, an online platform where students can get real-time support. We're learning that this is something that we've been wanting to adopt for some time, but haven't been really ready to do it. Now we've been forced. And so to do this, we're benefiting greatly, and I think our students are too. We're getting good feedback from them, and we continue to learn from one another. Our vendor, Connex Ed, has been very helpful, so we continue to get training on a regular basis. One of the great developments that's happened as a result of all of this is we've looked closely at our website, and through the help of Alejandro, Tyler, and Perdana, we've been able to put together a really solid website. Now it's easy for faculty, staff, and students to access student services online. It's on our front page, it's on our landing page. It's very easy to get to. A couple of clicks, you can get to what you need. So I would encourage you all to take a look at it. If you ever have a student who might have a need, it's very easy for you to kind of walk through a couple steps, and then you can kind of share with them what they need to do. And then, of course, our teams are all ready to assist. Our Student Success Center is accessible, and anytime you have a question or a concern, you certainly can take it to our Student Success Center, and you can also go to our deans, and you can come to me directly. I've had, I can't tell you, maybe a dozen faculty who have reached out to me with specific concerns about students, and by just giving me that information and taking the time to look at what's going on, I was able to then take that referral and get it to the right place. So what we want you all to know is in student services and at Mission College, there really is no wrong door. Anywhere you bring a student to or yourself to, we're going to get you connected to the right resource. What I also want to point out is we're looking to update our campus resource guide. I don't know if we've been able to do that yet, but there's a new version. And I want to thank Christina Gonzalez, who spent time last night updating it. It should have all of our most accurate information for all the student services areas, and that will be on our landing page as well. And so Alejandro and Perdana, I know, are working on that, so that hopefully will be up today. And really, I just want to say this. Our students are going through a tough time. As Nicole said, so are we, and we're going through these challenges. I think it's important for all of us to know it's okay to not be okay. And we want to convey that message and to let people know that aren't okay right now that we have resources available for them. Our Students Health Center is still open Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and that is posted on their website. But beyond our Student Health Center for medical and for mental health services, we also have a partnership with an organization called Luminarius, and they are fully accessible and remote. So we can get students routed to support through Luminarius or our Student Health Center if they're having difficulty with stress, anxiety, depression. Any of those things can be addressed. So wanted you all to know that. And finally, I just want to share my appreciation to all of you, our faculty and staff, who are really the lifeblood of our institution. Clearly, in what I'm seeing in my personal interactions via email, phone calls, is how concerned you are, how compassionate you are, and it's really making a difference. It makes a difference every single day, one life at a time. And I would just encourage you to continue to be that light for our students as they are dealing with this dark time. Your light means a lot, and it's much appreciated. So thank you all.
Thank you, Larry. I want to answer one question, and then I see that Par had asked a question about how do we notify students about the summer register for classes. So thank you for responding, Nicole, to that. And if you want more information, Nicole, do you want to offer more information how you're going to notify students about registering?
Sure. So the district is actually building a flag in the search function in PeopleSoft so that students can actually choose a class that has a synchronous time and day or an asynchronous course or truly regular online DE course. So those flags are being worked on right now. So once registration opens on May 4th, students will be aware of that option.
Very good. So I'm going to hand it off now to our interim Vice President of Administrative Services, Tom Jacobsmeyer. I want you all to know he's doing a great job. He's really working very hard with all our facilities folks and making sure this campus is safe and secure. But the question, Tom, and I don't know if you all know, but Tom is a FEMA, I call him one of our FEMA experts because he's been through this before, is a recovery plan. And we kind of chatted about that. This question from Vilma Bernal about when do we start looking at recovery and what does that look like? So Tom, if you can address that, I'd appreciate it, as well as give your report.
I will do that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a visual here because my camera is not working. And what I'll do is bring up a document that we can all refer to while I talk. Let me give a general rundown and then I'll answer that question that Vilma had. Generally, campus security is doing pretty well. Sheriffs are up and operating and keeping the campus safe, and controlling access on campus is actually very important right now. We want to make sure that we control the number of people and who it is that comes on board, and that we know who they are and that they maintain a safe distance and keep the people who are actually working on campus safe. So generally, a campus is closed to regular traffic. There are some staff that are working on campus, and this is on a limited basis. They're not all working full 8-hour days, generally 2 days a week and 4 hours each day. And that's on an as needed basis. It's not every single time that they're scheduled, and they're scheduled in work blocks, and the sheriff is familiar with these work blocks. So they are still doing the jobs that they're trained to do, and doing a really good job at it also. We're working online for the most part, and it seems to be functioning well at this point. It's a little frustrating in some respects, as all of you are having the same sorts of issues with classes and the operations that you have. When you do come to campus, please make sure you check in at the sheriff's office or at the entrance at the parking lot structure. You should not be going to a building without doing that first. This way we know who's gone into the buildings and whether we need to go back and actually clean through those buildings again with custodial. So this is a very important coordination process that we need to continue with. All campus personnel are wearing protective equipment while they're working. At the very least, they're wearing masks. The custodians are wearing gloves, masks, and eye protection as they continue to work through the campus and maintain the cleanliness of the campus. Campus buildings. Most of the campus buildings are secured. That means they're locked and no one should be going in them. We've reduced the services in those buildings, reduced the lighting, reduced the air conditioning, although air cycling is continuing. You should not be entering a building without prior permission. This is for your safety and the safety of everybody else on campus. So this helps us again to maintain the safety in those buildings. And if we need to go back and clean because someone's gone in, then we'll certainly do that. As for the general services and admin services, campus continues to operate all functions necessary to maintaining your class curriculum. That's our primary focus right now. And these services are still operating mostly in an online capacity, although I mentioned some of them do come in on work blocks. Purchasing, payroll, personnel, maintenance and operations, the guys are out there working on the buildings. They're still performing the services that they were prior to the shutdown. Custodial is working in the capacity that I mentioned previously. Mailroom has limited services. So they're there part of the time. They can do some mailing. They can do some reprographics, although that's limited at this point also. Bookstore has limited services. They are shipping books and they are shipping other orders. If you need a new sweatshirt from campus, let them know, they'll get it for you. Sheriff's office is operating 24 hours a day, and they're there to assist you also. Please make sure you check in with them before you come onto campus. IT support. Mark wanted us to mention that you can still get IT support by contacting LAMC-tech support at laccd.edu. So if you have issues with your computers or you need tech support, please email the tech support group at the district. And the campus is operating with the District Office of Emergency Services Center, and Mission's Incident Command Center is operating. Vilma's question is a good one, and we need to do a recovery process even now. So I've started building a recovery process document. It's actually more complicated than I expected, because I have to adapt it to a college environment. Usually these recovery processes have businesses in mind. They don't very often have colleges in mind, but we'll get there. And I believe I'll have the operating document ready by next Monday. So Sarah Masters is our expert in this area. I'm going to make her an expert, and she will begin to do the recovery process and the recovery planning to get the campus back up and running. So when the incident is over, we hope to initialize this plan right away. Please also note the new power plant is operational, is already providing us with some savings in electrical utilities. So we will have some savings in the campus based on the utility reductions. If you have any questions for admin services, the staff is ready to help you and answer any. So if you want to email any of the staff, please do that. And if you have any questions, you can email me. That's the end of mine.
Thank you, Tom. And Sarah Master is our branch section chief for strategic planning. And that's part of her responsibilities, to be thinking about recovery. And so we'll all work with her on that, but she'll start the initial documents to get us moving forward. Tom, if you could take off your, thank you. There was a question here. I'll get to it. Sylvia, are we going to reduce funding, reduction of staff? The answer is no. I don't have plans at this point, or we don't have plans to reduce staff or faculty. In fact, we're moving forward with the hiring of faculty and some staff. So we're not going to do that. All right, moving on. Vilma, excuse me. Yeah, Vilma, did you want to add anything?
I just wanted to welcome all the faculty. I echo everyone's sentiment of how nice it is to see all of your faces. It gets a little lonely. I'm a little lonely in my office. a little lonely in my own little room. And sometimes I wish I could just go outside the hallway and go to this faculty member and ask, hey, what do you think about this? Or I'll run to a meeting because I'm running late because there's so many meetings that we have to get to. And so I crave for traffic. I crave for Starbucks to delay in my order. You know, all of those things that we used to not like so much in the past, I'm craving for right now. And certainly I am craving for colleagues and discussing with you and talking to you and seeing you. But this is a storm that we together have to weather. And I will begin by saying how proud I am of the faculty. You have come through in so many ways. You cannot even understand what that means to this institution, to the success of the students. I'm in many meetings, and I want to make sure that our students are being taken care of. And we hardly hear any complaints from students, because you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're going above and beyond. And I think that's one of the realities is that more is being asked of us. We need to learn new skill sets. We need to do things that are different, and you're coming through. You're doing what you need to do in order to assist the student. I know that in your mind you have the student right in front of you, and you're doing all of these things for the benefit of the students, and that's what we're here. And that's why we become faculty members, right? We could pursue many other avenues, many other careers, but we chose to do this because this is our bread and butter. We love to see students' success. And so I just want to thank you all for what you are doing, for your continued efforts in making sure that this institution continues to function. Even though we are not together, I want to thank management for trusting us in that we're going to do the work. It's a trust issue as well, and we've had to work through that. But we are seeing some of those results, and they have been very positive. The union continues to look after your rights. The union continues to fight for you. And when it comes to wages, when it comes to work security, when it comes to benefits, we're all over that. It's very comforting that we have a management that adheres to our CBA, and their intentions are well. They have good intentions in making sure that they respect our CBA, and I am so proud to be part of this team of faculty, and also the team with management as we face and weather this storm. I am right here if you have any questions regarding the contract, regarding your jobs, regarding any decisions that are being made. Please contact me. I've had many of you call me, and we were able to work things out as we're discussing it, as we're talking, and we are able to work things out. And so I just want to thank all of you, and I just want to thank you for being here. And we started strong. We had an obstacle in the middle of this semester. We're going to end strong, and that's because of all of you and your hard work. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Vilma. Well said and supportive. I'm going to ask Carol Ackle if she would like to add anything. Carol, is there anything you would like to add?
Yes, Dr. Perez. I want to say that I'm so proud of all our faculty, our staff, our administrators. We've all come together, and we have been able to work out the details to make sure that instruction and services for our students continue as best as possible given the circumstances. I want to commend all our faculty, full-time and part-time, for putting time, a lot of times above and beyond what is required, to convert their courses to remote instruction. In many cases, they had to learn all the different and new platforms for content delivery, like Canvas, Zoom, Lapster, Proctorio. Thank you everyone for putting our students and our mission and values first. I want to remind you all not to forget to take care of yourself and your families. It is easy in times like these for some of us to forget about our well-being. I did see that the EAP has been offering a lot of workshops. So if you haven't seen those, look for them. Please take advantage of these services that we get. We all need to continue to be healthy and feel good so that we can be the best that we can be and offer our students and our departments and our college the best version of us so that we can inspire each other and help each other in this time and our students. As far as the DE training that Dr. Perez mentioned, yes, I was sitting on a work group that basically talked about a common district-wide DE training. I will talk more about that at the next Senate meeting. And that's it. I want to thank everyone for all you're doing. I miss you all. And reach out to me and to the e-board if you have any questions.
Thank you, Carol. And I know you're going to have your Senate meeting soon. So one of the questions here has to do with paper transcripts. Martha submitted. What are we going to do with paper transcripts? So I'm going to ask Larry if he has a response to that, or Nicole, because I know there's been discussion about that. Larry, you want to try to get to that?
Yeah. This came up with the CSSOs, the Chief Student Services Officers. One of the things about paper transcripts, if they are in fact still going to be required, which they may well be, then is there a way for us to have an admissions and records staff who is considered a uber essential, right? One of the staff who maybe can come on and take care of some of the paper transcripts. That would be up to the ICC and Dr. Perez to make a determination as to whether, and I don't know if this is getting to your question, Martha, about needing someone to be able to handle the paper transcripts. Maybe you can clarify for us via chat on that. And then Nicole, you might be able to, answer it in a different kind of way.
The CIOs have not had a discussion regarding the automation of that, but it may be something that comes up.
Okay.
And remember all, it's not really our doing, it's the Cal States or the 4 years that require this. So, we have to find a way to get it done. And I see Martha's comment, we are going to discuss it. We probably will have essential admissions and record person who will have to come on campus to process those paper transcripts. We do have there's another question from Martha about, do we need someone in the mailroom? And one in admissions, we have somebody in the mailroom. Tom has that person, I believe, twice a week. The mailroom has been reduced. Tom, what is the mailroom hours?
Well, the mailroom is actually closed, but we do have the receiving person, Jason, is backing up the mailroom staff when they're not there. So when the mailroom staff does show up, the building is still closed, but they're actually processing through the mail. If you have issues with mail, then go ahead and email us and we'll try to help you out.
Okay, so we can work that out, Martha, about getting the mail. Sylvia, what about programs for which students receive certificates? Will they be getting them on a timely basis? Good question. Let me ask Larry if he wants to address that.
Yeah, and I'm sure Carlos will have a few things to say, maybe in chat, so we can have that, documented. But we've been making a lot of progress on this, as you know, before this whole COVID-19. I anticipate that we will still be able to keep up with our promise to have a quick turnaround time on these, Sylvia. I will be working closely with Carlos and the A&R team to figure out how we do that now remotely. But we have two great eval techs in our A&R, Pabla and Christine, who are on top of this. So it's just a matter of working with our academic affairs colleagues. We get the proper information as to who qualifies and make sure we get those certificates to them quickly so they use them as they need to hopefully return to the workforce prepare for the next step in their journey. So we'll definitely be on top of that.
Yeah, and I know in the past that it has been an issue, Sylvia, and all of us know that. We started improving in the last fall semester and this spring as we move forward. But I think now we're going to get better at it and make sure it's timely. As soon as we get the notice from academic affairs and they process that. Okay, let's see. Other questions? All right, I think that we have a question from Marla. And we will also follow our process if students are not getting their certificates timely. We need them for jobs or pay raises. Please let them know I will work with student services. Thank you, Marla. You're absolutely right. We need those certificates, particularly for students that are applying for jobs. And then Carlos indicates the certificates are already showing up in the transcripts. So I think these are all very good questions to our students. We all know that our students are also seeking employment. You know, there's been a high unemployment rate. So they may be scrambling to get employment. And so we do know that there's going to be quite a bit of funding coming from the federal government, the state, to our strong workforce programs, to our career technical education programs in particular. And I haven't had an opportunity yet to sit down with our folks, Nicole and others, with regard to the funding that's going to be coming for dislocated workers, for incumbent workers, there's going to be sizable amount of dollars for short-term training. Our non-credit programs and CTE programs are going to be called upon, and we're going to have to really gear up for that. So that's something we're going to be working on in the near future. Other questions?
Terry,
I see a question from Terry Carter regarding PPE supplies from district, when they will be issued to the campus and how they will be distributed.
Okay, I got the assurance last night in the Chancellor's Cabinet that they will be distributing these PPE supplies. But Tom, do you want to respond to that?
Well, you know, we had a delivery scheduled for last Friday, and because it was a half day, I think it just fell apart. And so the district did deliver those PPE yesterday. We already have a pretty good supply on campus for the custodians and those staff that are on, principally because it's a limited staff. We also got ahead of the curve back in the middle of March and ordered a large order of PPE that are supposed to be here sometime around the beginning of May. We're hoping. We've been seeing some of our deliveries are delayed because of so many different deliveries being made. But as far as PPE goes, Mission is probably in as good a shape or better than most colleges are. And I have to say, I was at Valley for 16 years, and I've been in the district for 23 years. So I've been to a lot of different colleges, all as a VP. And one of the things that I have been able to report at the EOC is that Mission is always ready. That's what's been something that's been very interesting to me. This little college is doing better than most of the other large and bigger colleges. So you all can take pride in that. Mission is really ahead of the game. So there you go.
Thank you for that, Tom. And I think it speaks volumes about our dedication as faculty, staff, and students and administration, and the community that supports us. I think the distribution of PPE, so my comment to Terry would be, if you are in need of masks or gloves or anything like that, please contact Tom's office. And Andy Good, our facilities director, has access to that, and he's pretty much there almost every day as the plant facilities director. So I'm sure Tom will get whatever you need, Terry. Other questions? Okay, well, I want to end this with, we will do this regularly as time moves on. I will have the town hall meeting for students on Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. We'll set up another town hall, and I'll give you some updates. We get a chance to see each other. The other day I was taking a walk and another person was 10 feet away walking past me with mask. And she told me, "Oh my God, a human being. I can't believe it." So people do need each other. We definitely do. So if there are no more questions, I will let you go today and more to follow. But Tom, you know, that was a great remark because it's true. Mission has always been up front. We take care of business. We really care for our students. We're prepared. So uh, my hat's off to all my colleagues and friends and family here at Mission. Thank you all. Have a good day.